everyone, and welcome to What You Need to Know on this Baby Friday.
A little Usher there. Have you seen him in Las Vegas yet?
No, we're not that close with him.
I haven't, but I want to see him in Paris. I wish I was. I wish I knew Usher like that. I'm definitely going to go see him in Paris. So.
All right.
Yeah, fingers crossed. If our executive producer allows me to take off, I will go see him.
Field trip.
Dr. Jen, it's good to have you back again. I know you were here yesterday, but we missed you.
Missed you guys too.
We're also tracking some health headlines we want to talk to you about. These deadly wildfires that are ripping through the island of Maui in Hawaii. I mean, it's just heartbreaking devastation to look at. The smoke is so dangerous, and we've talked a lot about the health repercussions of air pollution, but now a new study is shedding light on how poor air quality may be associated with the growing threat of antibiotic resistance around the world. Explain this.
Yes, so we talked about connecting the dots between our environment and our health. This is a perfect example, and it's something that I had not heard of really before this latest study published in the Lancet Planetary Health Journal. First of all, antibiotic resistance, that means bacteria develop resistance to our arsenal of antibiotics, and they truly no longer work for us anymore. This latest study analyzed air quality and antibiotic resistance levels across 166 countries. What they found is that air pollution contributed to this resistance about 11% of the pie. So that is a significant number. Possible reasons for this, which I found fascinating, that pollution can actually spread the antibiotic resistant bacteria. It can carry it and enable it to spread or propagate more easily and or alter it genetically to help it become resistant. By 2050, you guys, this problem in the world of medicine, science, public health, antibiotic resistance, estimated to increase by 17% worldwide. I want to be crystal clear. That will have an impact on you, on myself. When we go to the hospital, we're sick. Antibiotics that are in existence will not work against the bacteria that are infecting us. So we all need to pay attention to this, and air quality implicated as a cause.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is alarming to say the least. All right, Dr. Jen, thank you very much. Rena Roy is in the house with a look at the headlines. Good to see you, friend.
Secretary, you know, this hits home for me as a board-certified OBGYN. These supply kits are a great first step, part of the blueprint, but what else is the administration doing to address this really concerning maternal mortality epidemic?
Dr. Ashton, my wife too, is an OBGYN, and she's worked hard on these issues. One of the first things that we need to do is really make sure women have the total care that they need.
You mentioned not unplugging from the mom after delivery, that so-called fourth trimester, so important, but you also mentioned mental health. Psychiatric illness, one of the leading causes of maternal mortality in this country. What else are you doing to address mental health for moms, both during pregnancy and after?
We're at National Maternal Mental Health Hotline at 1-833-TLC-MAMA. That's 1-833-852-6262. But it is truly alarming that there's not an OBGYN in every county in America to take care of women that need the help.
That's right. And in the UK, the male spouse of a pregnant woman has a greater chance of dying during pregnancy than the woman. So just close to us in the UK, they're doing so much better than we are.
All right. Still ahead here on GMA3, so many of us are monitoring those devastating fires sweeping through Maui. All right, folks, we're back now with America's favorite doctor, Dr. Jen, and there's a new study out today that suggests walking fewer than 5,000 steps a day could lower your risk of death. What do we need to know?
What we need to know is walk more, sit less. That's the bottom line. I mean, I think that, you know, that's right. Yes, good. I applaud that. But that literally, this is akin to the debate about sugar, the debate about fat, the debate about salt. Every study is going to show its own little isolated result, the magic number, so to speak, because we've heard 10,000 steps, we've heard 7,500, we've heard 5,000. The bottom line is more is better when it comes to lowering the associated risk of what we call all-cause mortality. So that's death from all causes. What is the subtext to that medical headline is that activity is good for our health. Inactivity is bad for our health. So a lot of people, either they have the wearable device on their wrist or they have a phone that can track the number of steps. I think we should all kind of get more accustomed and used to checking out, just out of curiosity, you know, just as we should know how many hours of sleep we get most nights, we should have an idea how many steps we're taking during the day. And I can tell you from personal experience that sometimes we feel like we're very busy and very active during the day, but that step count is often lower than we think. And every 500 steps more has an associated decrease in our risk of death. So truly more is better.
And
but you don't need that much. Yeah, I mean, listen, just start pacing.
Maybe we should start standing for these segments.
I think we should start standing, but people do a lot of calls and they're walking or pacing. It's all good for your health.
All right, Dr. Jen, thank you very much. We're back in a moment.
Welcome to Generation. Toyota's national sales event is on. Make the most of summer with a new Toyota.
We want the gray Tacoma.
Gray Tacoma coming in hot.
On it! Highlander Hybrid.
Highlander Hybrid on the double hang.
Here we go.
That Red RAV4.
Run a red RAV4.
Hit the deck.
Now.
All right, Dr. Jen joins us now with a question that you're asking about online. How do I know if I have a weak pelvic floor? And that came from Jada H. This is a question so many women have. I mean, after I had a baby, it was one of the first things I was worried about.
Particularly important after pregnancy, but potentially any woman, because a little bit of anatomy here. When you talk about the pelvic floor muscles, if you think about the female external genital anatomy as a stoplight, right? Red, yellow, green. The pelvic floor muscles literally go around that like a figure eight and like almost like a hammock, and we call them the levator muscles. If they get stretched out, which can happen with age, it can happen with smoking, it can happen with obesity, it can happen after childbirth, you can start to have symptoms of pelvic floor weakness or pelvic floor dysfunction, which generally present or manifest with bladder issues and bowel issues.
Does having multiple children affect it?
Yeah, it increases the risk because, again, just think of that hammock, right? Carrying a full pregnancy just stretches that out. DeMarco right now is very happy
so much about
that
it.
he does not have to do
why
it.
some women pee themselves. It's not on purpose.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Can we move on?
We sure can. And you know what? You handled that
But it's
very
important.
well.
It's very important. So
It's super
I
important.
agree and I respect it. Your prescription for wellness.
Okay, you guys know what the #1 cancer killer of women and men is? Lung cancer. Literally, women do not know that. They always think it's breast cancer. Lung cancer is #1. So there is a screening test for lung cancer. And these are the recommendations. Again, women and men that should really know about this. If you have what's called a 20-pack year or more smoking history, so that's the number of years you smoked times the number of packs per day that you smoked it, you qualify. If you smoke now or have quit in the last 15 years, you're a candidate for screening for lung cancer with a CAT scan.
Even if you quit 15 years ago?
Absolutely. And if you're between 50 and 80 years of age. So again, this is a specific type of CT scan or CAT scan. X-rays do not detect lung cancer. I hear that myth and misconception all the time. So if you meet any of those criteria, talk to your healthcare provider about getting screened.
So how does a doctor diagnose it if you can't tell
with a CAT scan?
With
yeah,
the CAT
you
scan.
have to get the screening lung CAT scan.
Okay. All right, Dr. Jen, we're learning a lot. And folks, we would love to hear from you, so hit us up on Instagram with all of your medical questions at ABCGMA3. My stomach is growling. I'm starving. I knew you guys could hear it.
We're talking about weak pelvic floors, and he's hungry. Just ahead here on GMA3, we'll meet the incredible father of 5, turning his life upside down.